What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your finale. Love and Hip Hop Hunts. It ain't Love and Hip Hop nothing. Love and Marriage Huntsville, the season finale. So look, I don't believe I said Love and Hip Hop. A couple of things. First of all, let me tell y'all something. This whole season, we thought LaTisha was playing checkers. Honey Girl was playing chess. Okay. And no one was more surprised than her own husband. Honey Girl was playing chess on him, okay? LaTisha, I take back everything I said. Because you had it. You was working it out. You was working it out. I take back everything. I take back 80% of what I said. Because you was working it out. We see that there's light at the end of the tunnel for Melody and Marcel. We see them Scott's brothers are doing the damn thing. Look, let's just go on and jump into this thing. So we start the episode off with LaTisha accepting the job. She calls the lady back when she had the interview and she accepts the position. And the woman says, she said, she said, I think this is going to be a great partnership. She said, as a matter of fact, I've been working with a builder who just bought a piece of land and wants to build a hotel. And I told him, don't use any of those builders that you normally work with down in, I think the person was from, it was somewhere else anyway. But they said, use some local people. And recommended LaTisha's husband's company, the construction company. And LaTisha was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be perfect. She said, see, this is the sign that I needed, that this was the right decision. So we're going to get to that in a second. But Marcel is going to have an opportunity to build a multi-million-dollar hotel project. But we're going to get to that in a second. So then we see Marcel make his way over to his mama house, honey, because, they always go to mama. And I like his mother, because his mother going to give it to you straight with no chaser. His mama is not sugarcoating it, but she's still going to love on her son. And we find out that Marcel does have to have surgery. He did rupture his Achilles. And he's talking to his mom. And, his mama was like, look, she was like, I got you. I'll take care of you. Because I know daughter. I love she calls Melody daughter. She said, because, I know daughter got to take care of them kids and keep the business going. So, I got you. And she says, daughter came to visit me a little while back. And she wasn't happy. And I don't like to see daughter not happy. I said, you better get him. He said, I know. He said, did you give her some good advice? Did you tell her not to leave me? He making this face. She said, I told her don't take that crap off of you. And Marcel's face dropped. Like, you could see his face just drop. Like, oh my goodness, what? She said, but I did tell her, that y'all got those kids and y'all built this, this. I didn't tell her to leave you. I just told her don't take that crap off of you. Now, here's where I'm confused, y'all. Y'all been confusing me all season. I said this last week, and I ain't going to keep saying this the last episode. But I really thought at the beginning of this season, this whole infidelity thing was a big secret. Even when Melody went to go visit his mom a few episodes back, it was like episode 2 or 3, she even said, well, I don't want to tell his mom exactly what went down because I don't want, that's still his mother. But Mama, no! Mama was like, just because you did what you did. And I'm like, so is Marcel and Melody the only people that think that don't nobody know what happened? Because it seemed like all of Huntsville know. And while they was running around playing perfect couple, the joke was on them because ain't nobody believe that shit no way. I'm confused. I really am. It seemed like they started. I ain't gonna go down that road. I'm confused. Oh, happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. But I'm just like, let me know in them comments. Am I crazy? Didn't they act like this was a big secret and nobody knew about it? But now, with every episode, we finding out more and more people knew what was going on. I don't. Anyway, neither here nor there, y'all. So that was how that went down. We see that Melody is moving right along. She done disconnected herself from the comeback group, and now she is meeting with people trying to figure out how can she get out of how she can she buy these people out? How she gonna get them out of the whole deal, because she wants to move forward with this land and build these houses, okay? And so we see them talking about that and how they could or couldn't possibly get out of this whole situation. Okay. Meanwhile, LaTisha's having power lunches with her husband, okay? She didn't invite her husband out to lunch to let him know, look, number one, I took that job. You told me that you just didn't want anything within our household to change, and I have created a situation where I will still be able to maintain my homemaker duties, okay, and work. Oh, and if that's not enough, let me tell you what I done set up for you. Okay, I didn't put you in a position to bid on a multi-million-dollar hotel project. How you like me now? And it was not a god darn thing that Marcel could say. All he could do was, because you saw his face. He was ready to give it to her. He was ready to give it to her, honey. But by the time she got done telling him the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how, he couldn't do shit but say thank you. He said, I ain't gonna never lay this down. No, you not. You not. Because you doubted her. You doubted that woman. You know you not. He was like, I'm going to have to hear about this forever. You are. Every single time. Yep. Every single time. You're going to have to hear about it. And I'm proud of LaTisha. Not in a, like, she cares about me being proud of her. But I'm proud of LaTisha because at the end of the day, they love each other. There's a love there. For as much criticism as they have gotten this season about their marriage and him being, you know, how he is and so forth and so on, she was never trying to be. What I took about this whole situation was she agreed to the 5-year plan because it made sense at the time. But as she grew and evolved, she wanted more. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, in that moment I meant what I said. Because I believe she meant what she said in that moment. I believe she 100% meant, I'm going to do this 5-year plan. But somewhere in the middle of that plan, she wanted more. And that's okay. And that should be supported. And I think Marcel's thing was, look, we had this plan. It's working for me. I don't know why it's not working for you. And let's just stick to the plan. And at the end of the 5 years, let's reevaluate. So nobody was necessarily wrong in the situation. Everybody just had their own point of view of the situation. And so from that point of view, I told y'all, I spent probably the first 2 episodes, couldn't stand Marcel's butt. But then I really, first of all, he's funny as hell to me. I get his sense of humor. Our sense of humor is similar. But I just don't think it was any malice. I don't think it was with any malice. That he's not a caveman. He just was like, look, this is how I see things, and I thought you were on board. I thought we were together in this. And so what's funny was the producers were like, so can you just admit that LaTisha was right? He was like, I ain't gonna say she was right. So it's like, even at the end of it, he still can't do it. He like 80%, 90% there, but that last 10% he just can't let go. But it's all good, Marcel. We know. I probably wouldn't let it go either. But at the end of the day, LaTisha let us know how she really run the things. Okay. She said, I got this MBA, I got this commercial license, and what I'm about to do is break it for y'all. I'm about to show y'all how I break this thing down. But definitely very happy about that. So we see the Scott brothers. They bought a house for their mom. They're renovating it. Their mom is in a wheelchair, so they have to make it, what is it, APA standards. So you see them working on the house and everything. And Maurice says, you know what? He said, this is all good and well and everything. He said, but wouldn't it be nice if we could build those houses on that plot and go ahead and give one of them houses to mom? Like, wouldn't that be better? Like, they're going back to the whole comeback group thing. And Marcel tells Maurice about the hotel situation. Now, when he was talking to LaTisha, he just had an opportunity to bid on the project. By the time he's talking to Maurice, he's actually in negotiations to get the project. So I guess he won the bid, and he's actually in negotiations to get this project. Let me tell y'all something. Them Scott brothers about took me out. Because when I tell you that Maurice was so happy for his brother, and he was teared up, and they were in there, they were doing that man cry. You know, they ain't let the tears actually come out, but, you know, they was doing that man cry. But Maurice was so happy for his brother. Like, that's love. Like, there was no jealousy. There was no malice there. It was just like, oh my God, my brother's getting ready to build a hotel. He said, from where we came, from everything we've been through, from all the challenges that we've been through, for us to be here, that thing about took me out, y'all. I ain't lying. Them 2 brothers about took me out. That was beautiful. And his reaction was so genuine and it was so real. And I loved it. I loved it. Here go Marcel. It's all hot in here. You got my eyes sweating. Yeah, go on and cry. Go on and cry. You earned that. But it was just a really, really a good moment. It was just a good thing to see. And then on the other side, we see Miss Kimi making moves too. Because Kimi said, look, I'm driving around Huntsville and I am noticing that the real estate renaissance is happening without us. And if we don't get this ish together, I'm trying not to cuss y'all. If we don't get this ish together, it's going to pass us by. And we're going to be looking back going, what shoulda, woulda, coulda. And we were on the forefront. We came up with the idea of the comeback group a year ago. And because we couldn't get our own egos and our own issues out the way, it's going to pass us by. And, so Kimi decides, look, we need to put all this mess to the side. We need to come together. We need to have a meeting and we need to talk about this thing. So she calls, this is not going to be a long review because it was a good finale, but it wasn't a whole lot there. You know how they tying up everything. They tying everything up. So they decide to have a meeting. And Kimi calls the meeting. Let me, rewind. Let me go back to the Scott brothers for a minute. So after they get done crying and hugging each other up, Maurice is talking to Marcel about bringing Kimi and his ex-wife together. Marcel was like, no, absolutely not. That's not a good idea. I don't understand why you feel like you need to do that. And he was like, because, I just feel like I'm at a point where I want Monster to come and live with me. He was like, and shouldn't I get all the players in the room so we can all be on the same page? Marcel was like, no, I don't see no need to do that. I don't see why you need to do that. No, everybody don't need to be on the same page. No. Like, Marcel was like, he said, it's some sort of he said, I don't know what's going to happen. He said, it's like it's some sort of butterfly effect. That's just something, just nope. And, Maurice's thing was, Monster's mother has done a great job, but he's getting to a point where I feel like he needs me on a full-time basis. And I don't have a problem. I see both sides of that story, and I didn't really speak a whole lot on it the first time he brought it up. It was at the wedding and everything. But this is how I feel about the situation. I had a friend who said that to me one time. A really good friend of mine, he had a son. And him and the mother of his child have a really good relationship. Even to this day, his son is in high school now, and they still have a great relationship. But I remember his son was a baby then. And I remember him saying to me, she just going to have to understand that at a certain point, he just going to be living with me. And I was like, how you get to make that decision for her? Like, you don't get to tell her that your son is going to be living with you. Like, where you get that from? And he was like, because there are certain things that he needs from me that he can't get from her. And it doesn't matter how good of a mother she is, he can't get those things from her. And I'm here, and he's going to get them from me. And I just remember thinking, that is the most arrogant thing I have ever heard in my life. Like, I was mad. And he my friend. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking, oh, he's so ignorant. Oh, he can't just be telling somebody he gonna take the baby. And I remember, and that's how I felt at the moment, right? Now, that was, obviously, I said the boys in high school now, so that was clearly a while back. And I have a different mindset a little bit on it now. I've evolved a little bit on my mind, on my thinking on that. I do agree, and especially in this day and age, when what we're dealing with black men and with our young black boys and in the field that I work in and what I see on a daily basis, I 120% understand that mindset. And I 120% respect the hell out of Maurice for saying, my son needs something from me that I need to give him. Why am I getting emotional, y'all? I feel like I'm about to tear up. I respect the hell out of that. And I absolutely agree with where Maurice is coming from. But I think what Marcel was trying to explain to Maurice, which is still where I'm coming from, is it's not your decision to make by yourself. And with all due respect to Kimi, because y'all know that's my girl, that's a conversation you need to have with his mom, face-to-face, one-on-one. You need to get on a plane. You need to fly to Michigan. Y'all need to sit down, and you don't need to come at her with, this is what I'm doing. You need to come at her with, I feel like I'm at a point where I can give him something as a black man, and don't say it ain't something that she can't give him. Don't do that. As a black man, this is what I need to give my son. And I need this time to do it. And I'm asking that you're okay with that and we work this out. And I have the high school ready for him. I have this ready for him. I have a room. Like, let her know that you have done more than just get a wife. Because that's what it came off as. Oh, now I got a wife. I can go get my son. And now, no. Let her know that this is bigger than, oh, I got a wife now. Let her know that this is coming from what I can give my son and prepare him for this world that we live in. And then you bring Kimi into the conversation. Because what I don't understand is how you and Kimi been dating for 9 years and y'all ain't had a sit down conversation yet. But that ain't my business. Because I'm just saying, for me, I'm not sending my child somewhere every summer and I don't know all the players in the house. That's just me. I'm going to sit down and have a conversation. I ain't talking about FaceTime. Again, we going to sit down and we going to talk. And we don't have to like each other. But we're going to talk. But it does sound like there might be a little contention there because Marcel brought up the fact that he was like, look, you divorced your wife, you left the state, you lost 40 pounds, you started this business, you in law school, you having this marvelous life from the outside. Like, there's some there, you know? And I feel like that's the conversation that needs to be had. Now, again, I 100% respect where you coming from, and I'm not saying that I think you shouldn't have your child. I just think it's the way it has to be addressed, or it needs to be addressed. But anyway, so now let's get back to Miss Kimi. So Kimi said, look, we need to have a meeting. I need to bring all the players back to the table. And she has them meet her at the plot of land. And she said, look, I brought y'all here for a reason. She said, I want y'all to look to y'all left, and I want y'all to look to y'all right. And you see that this real estate renaissance is exploding without us. And at this point, she said, Melody, because everybody's there except for Marcel, because Marcel is getting ready for his surgery. And she said, look, I absolutely respect and I appreciate the fact that you brought us to the comeback group, not once but twice. So I don't ever want you to feel like we don't appreciate that and we don't acknowledge that this was you that brought us together. And because you had a vision and you saw something that you thought we could do together as a group. And for that, we appreciate it. She said, but what we have to do is figure out a way to make this work. Let's put our egos to the side. Let's put whatever else we need to put to the side. And let's figure this out. Because if not, this is going to pass us by. And we're not going to have nothing to show for it. Except for a whole bunch of broken meetings. You know. And because Melody showed up like, look, I meant what I said when I said I was done. But I'm going to hear her out of respect for Kimi. I'm going to hear what she has to say. And I appreciate that too. So, through the conversation, you could tell Melody is starting to sort of come around and be like, yeah. And Melody starts talking about, you know, we got to figure out a way to make this work, even if it's not 3 couples, even if it's 2 couples and 2 singles. And everybody was like, honey, and here we go again. Again, the worst kept secret in Huntsville. Melody starts going off about how bad things are between her and Marcel and how she's just done and she's ready to, she's ready to move on and that she doesn't know if the two of them are even going to be together past this. And, but even if they're not together, they got to figure out a way to make it work. And I was just like, and so then they start. So Kimi asked her point blank. Kimi was like, well, what in the world? And Marcel was like, Kimi, don't get into that. Kimi was like, she brought it up. And so she starts talking about feeling respected and just getting to a point where the respect is in their marriage. And, the reality of the situation is, I know things were done for the purposes of the show. And for that, I respect Melody and Marcel for putting that much of their business out there. Like, I do, because that's a lot. There was a lot to put out there. It was a lot to say we're going to put our marriage and the infidelity and everything out there, especially if they built their reputation on being this perfect couple. So I respect the hell out of that. But you can tell that the other people around them, they acknowledge how bad it is. And nobody, I don't think anybody, I mean, they talk about it after Melody kind of leaves. Does Marcel know how bad it is? Like, Melody was literally ready to walk. And I believe it. I don't believe that was for TV. I believe Melody was ready to walk. I absolutely believe it. And what I believe is going on, I believe, because Marcel keeps saying, why are you bringing up stuff that happened a year ago? But Marcel, what you not, and maybe you understand it now, but what you weren't understanding in that moment was, one, the hurt didn't go away in that year's time. And part of the reason why the hurt didn't go away is because Melody never had the whole story. And when you tell me something and you say, this is it, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is it, but then I keep getting little crumbs, little breadcrumbs here and there, it makes you doubt everything. It makes you doubt everything. You know, you let Melody look through your phone. Aha, but you got a second phone. Melody said, look, if things were bad in our marriage when all this was going on, then I could say, okay, I see what happened, and I can understand it and know how to prevent it. She said, but nothing ever changed between me and Marcel. We still had date night. We were still intimate. We were still spending time together with the kids alone, taking walks in the park, going on movie dates, and we were still doing all of the things that a quote-unquote happy couple does. So I had no way of even saying, she said, if we were fighting all the time and we were no longer intimate, or he was never at home, then I could say, oh, I see where that happened. Oh, I see how that went down. She said, but none of that ever happened. So I don't know what to do, because even when he says, hey, you know, even if he comes home every night, you were coming home every night and still was having an affair. You know, oh, we're going to go out on more dates. We were going out on dates all the time and you were still having an affair. So it's like, I don't know what to do with that. Because again, I didn't think anything was wrong. So I don't know what to do with, okay, well, here's this, and here's that, but boom, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And I think that was the biggest struggle that Melody was having, was I didn't even know how bad it had gotten, because nothing ever changed. And that's a scary place to be. I can definitely see how that is a scary place to be, because you say to yourself, well, nothing changed. So anyway, that was the conversation, and they were all there, and they were like, well, you know, if you need us, Mel, anything you need, you know, and it was a great moment. It was a great conversation. And y'all, I didn't think I had this much to say about this episode. So Melody rolls out, and when Melody leaves, of course, you know, they're going to have a conversation after she leaves, and basically, but honestly, the conversation was basically, does Marcel know how bad it is? Like, does Marcel know he about to get some paper in the mail? Because LaTisha asked her, LaTisha said, have you filed anything yet? And Melody said, no, I haven't filed anything yet. She said, good, then it can be saved. If you haven't filed anything yet, then we good. Then this can be fixed. And so that's kind of where we left off with that. So then we get to Marcel. Now, Marcel was looking at his wedding video, honey. He laid up on the couch looking at the wedding video, reminiscing on love, reminiscing on how happy he was, reminiscing on his relationship, honey. He having a moment. And then we see him prepping for his surgery. And you know what? I give Melody much respect. Melody said, look, you having surgery, this is a major situation. This is a major surgery. This is a major recovery. Bigger than what we got going on right now. I got you. I got you. I got your back in this. But on the flip side, please know that while you are recovering, you will be on the first floor and I will be upstairs. And once you get mobile again, we will make some other arrangements. Marcel said, what? He said, what you mean? She said, Marcel, I think we need some time alone. And we're not good. We're not good. And I think we need some time away from each other. And I'm going to see you through this. But once we get on the other side of this and you're good and you're mobile, we're going to have to make some other arrangements on the sleeping and the living arrangements. Honey, that thing broke Marcel's heart. You could tell. Marcel Phyllis was so hurt. He said, what you mean? She said, I thought I was clear. What do you mean what I mean? I thought I was very clear in what I said. The doctor came in just at that time, honey. I think Marcel was saved by the bell. So when the doctor left, of course, they went back to their conversation. And Marcel, and I could tell they had given, well, at least I feel like they had started giving him some drugs, because Marcel talking about something, I don't want to talk anymore. We're not friends anymore. And it just came off so like elementary school. But I was like, oh, those are drugs. Because it was funny the way he said it. He said, we're not friends anymore. Remember when you would break up with your friend? We ain't friends anymore. But anyway, so, but then Marcel poured out his heart. And Melody said, are these the drugs? He said, nah, these ain't those drugs. These ain't no drugs. He said, this is how I feel. But he did. He poured out his heart. And for the first time this season, I believed he was sincere. I believed he meant that thing. I do. I believed he meant everything he said to Melody at that moment. And Melody did too. Melody heard something different in it too. You know, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the drugs. I don't know if it was that he realized Melody was serious. I don't know if it was a combination. Like, I don't know all of the above. But I think he heard it. He heard it. You know, when a woman's fed up, not sorry to quote, you know, R. Kelly, but when a woman's fed up, you know. You know when you can't sweet talk no more. You know when you can't say the right things anymore. You know when it's rap. You know when it's a rap. And I think Marcel heard it. I think Marcel heard it. And so, you know, he said, there's nobody else for me. I don't care about none of that other stuff. I love you. Like, I mean, just, he poured it out. Y'all just got to see it. I can't do it justice, because it hit me. I said, oh. And so for the first time, I really believed Marcel. And we see Melody driving off, calling her mom and telling her mom, you know, Marcel, he poured his heart out, and I believe him. I heard something different. And her mother told her, said, hey, you have to, you got to make that decision, and you got to know what you can and can't live with and what you can deal with. And you got to make that decision on what, you know, what you're really willing to fight for. And again, I like her mom too, because her mom, again, I hate people who give advice like, well, leave his ass. No, that ain't your place. That ain't your place. I mean, unless it's a domestic situation, but that ain't your place. And that's pretty much where the episode ended. It definitely was a great season. Carlos King, brava, you definitely have a hit on your hand. I hope you guys have immediately made arrangements to start a season 2. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm waiting. And I hope you guys enjoyed the reviews. Hit that subscribe button. Talk to you later. Peace.